A young boy's voiceover cautions the audience not to blink or forget what they are about to hear and watches a woman driving a small boat over rough waves wearing a pack with a beetle emblem on it. She faces a massive wave, but she strikes her shamisen, splitting the wave in half magically, allowing her to cross. She sees shore ahead, but before she can get there, the boat capsizes due to a rogue wave that came from behind her. The woman drowns after hitting her head on a submerged rock. A cry from her pack awakens her, and she hugs the baby inside, Kubo, her son who is just one eye. 10 years after washing ashore, Kubo and his mother Sarayatu are still together and living in the same cave. Kubo looks after his mother, who has been injured and is now only occasionally conscious and in a semi-vegetative state. He is dressed in a robe made from the father's shirt that he was wrapped in as a baby, with a patch covering his lost left eye. Kubo takes a daytime excursion to the next village with his mother's shamisen and some homemade origami characters. To the joy of the townsfolk, Kubo uses the origami models he creates to tell fascinating tales about the samurai fighter Hanzo after inheriting Sarayatu's magical talents. Before Kubo can finish the story, the bell in the village that announces the approaching night rings, and Kubo runs home. Hanzo is armed with 3 magical pieces of armor, the sword unbreakable, the breastplate impenetrable, and the helmet invulnerable, and he sets out to fight his great adversary, the Moon King. That evening, Sarayatu narrates a tale of Kubo's father, Hanzo, and how he lost his life defending Kubo from his grandfather, the Moon King. Sarayatu reminds Kubo that, in addition to being a strong warrior, his father was just like him and issues a warning not to go outside after dark and to always carry his security charm, Mr. Monkey. If he were to forget any of this, Sarayatu's sisters and the Moon King would track him down and remove him. Later that evening, Kubo discovers his mother chatting and dreaming while sleeping, which causes his origami paper to flutter all over the place. She asks Kubo what happened to his eye as he wakes her up. The village is buzzing with excitement the following day. People might light lanterns on the Bon Festival's first day to communicate with their departed loved ones. In order to communicate with his father, Kubo is encouraged by his old friend Kameo to light a lantern of his own. Hosato teaches his daughter how to respect her grandmother's spirit. Hanzo doesn't respond to Kubo, which makes him angry and causes him to tear his paper lantern. Kubo has lost count of time by this point, and the sun is setting. Sarayatu's twin sisters, who are suddenly visible in the strange, murky mist surrounding the location, invite Kubo to accompany them. The sisters chase after Kubo as he flees to the hamlet, destroying everything in their path. Kubo is given wings by Sarayatu, who rushes in to save her son. Kubo grabs a strand of his mother's hair as he takes off, watching her face her sisters before vanishing in a huge energy burst. When Kubo awakens in a cold wasteland, a macaque monkey is standing over him and informs him that his mother has vanished and that they must leave immediately to avoid being discovered by the sisters. Kubo follows Monkey to a whale carcass where they spend the night and eat whale stew. They must look for Hanzo's magical armor, which is the only item that can shield Kubo from the Moon King, according to Monkey, who also adds that she was Kubo's charm and that she was brought to life by the last of Sarayatu's power. When Kubo displays his mother's hair to Monkey, she weaves it into a bracelet for him and explains that it is a memory, the most potent form of magic. Kubo and Monkey learn in the morning that as he slept, Kubo brought to life an origami figurine of Hanzo that silently indicates a path for them. Kubo utilizes his origami and shamisen to annoy the ever-serious Monkey along the journey, who cautions him to restrain his magic. Soon later, Kubo is taken hostage by a huge insect that, it turns out, only wanted to see the origami Hanzo. Although Beetle claims to have amnesia, he is certain that he was once a famous warrior and Hanzo's student before being cursed to become a beetle. Beetle begs to be included in their mission and makes a promise to defend Kubo till the end after knowing that Kubo is the son of Hanzo. After witnessing Beetle's aptitude with a bow and origami, Monkey reluctantly concurs. Hanzo identifies their next stop without delay. The trio finds the sword Unbreakable's location after being sent to the Hall of Bones entrance. It is, however, guarded by a terrifying skeleton, which Kubo only manages to vanquish after taking one of several swords from the guardian's head. When they reach the edge of Long Lake, Origami Hanzo directs them there, where Monkey and Beetle fight over Kubo's safety and magical prowess. They need to cross the lake, so Kubo seizes the chance to show off, building a huge ship out of leaves. As they sail, Beetle demonstrates to Kubo how to use a bow and arrow for fishing, and Monkey cuts up their catch with the sword Unbreakable. Having never done so before, Kubo is happy to share a lunch with his pals while seated between them, but then Origami Hanzo identifies the breastplate Impenetrable's position as being below the water's surface. Beetle offers to get it, but Kubo cautions him against the lake-dwelling monster his mother referred to. The creature sends you images with eyes that stare deep into you to tempt you to stay underwater forever. Beetle jumps in, but after a time and as a storm approaches, Kubo pursues him because he believes something is amiss. One of Sarayatu's sisters stops Monkey from following, and the two fight. Kubo discovers the armor in the meantime but is entranced by the Garden of Eyes. When Kubo is on the verge of being consumed by the aquatic creature, Beetle reappears, appearing to have forgotten about the armor. Monkey then sends Beetle back to find Kubo. The sister makes fun of Monkey and labels Sarayatu a traitor and weak person for falling in love with Hanzo. Despite being hurt, Monkey is able to vanquish the sister and says that falling in love made me stronger. Returning with Kubo, Beetle reveals that Monkey is actually his mother reincarnate after showing him photos from the Garden of Eyes. In a cave where they take refuge after sailing across Long Lake, Sarayatu shares her tale. She was given the mission to kill Hanzo because if he discovered the magical armor, he would become too powerful and break the delicate balance of nature. She resided in the skies with her father, the Moon King, and her sisters. While fighting Hanzo, he informs her that she is his quest and that Sarayatu discovered her own compassion when she realized that he was compassionate. They fell in love, and soon after, Kubo was born. But before Sarayatu could go, using her magic to conceal herself and Kubo, the Moon King, enraged by her treason, killed Hanzo and stole Kubo's eye. The Moon King, according to Sarayatu, seeks Kubo's other eye in order to receive his grandson into his domain, which is cold, hard, and ideal. Sarayatu confides in Beetle as Kubo nods off that she didn't reveal her name to Kubo earlier since the magic holding her alive is dwindling. Once she is gone, Beetle swears to take good care of Kubo. Kubo, meanwhile, encounters an elderly blind man playing the shamisen in a vivid dream. The undead guy instructs Kubo to visit Hanzo Citadel, the possible residence of the last piece of armor, the helmet Invulnerable. Excitedly, Kubo awakes, and the group sets out to finish their adventure. They discover murals at the stronghold that show the positions of the armor pieces, but there is no helmet because it has been abandoned for a long time. The second sister approaches them in the courtyard and explains that Beetle is actually Hanzo, whose memories were hidden and expressed in the origami figure that was leading them. Hanzo defeats the sister, but he is mortally stabbed in the back before he can fully enjoy his reunion with his family. Sarayatu instructs Kubo to take a flight home so that the sister cannot kill her. As soon as possible, Kubo snatches his shamisen and strikes it, snapping 2 of its 3 strings and unleashing a powerful energy burst that destroys the sister. When everything is over, Kubo sits calmly by himself. At Kubo's feet, Hanzo is still and the monkey charm has been shattered. While Kubo drops a single tear for his parents, he is aware that he must leave. Origami, despite being defeated by sister, Hanzo makes a feeble point at a drawing of the helmet. Kubo discovers the helmet is in his former hamlet, posing as the bell that rang at dawn and dusk. He takes the sword from his father's bow and the thread from it to make a bracelet, which he wears next to his mother's hair. He breaks the final string as he strums his shamisen. He grows wings on his back and flies back to his hometown. From the ruins, the people humbly greet him, but he tells them to flee for the Moon King is approaching. He gets the helmet back, finishing his armor, and he orders his grandfather to meet him. The Moon King makes it clear that this is the same elderly man from Kubo's dream. He gives Kubo the chance to give up his eye in exchange for an eternal life with him. When Kubo refuses, the Moon King transforms into a massive fish-like monster and attacks, throwing Kubo into the neighboring forest. Kubo is confronted by the Moon King in the village's ancestral cemetery. Kubo restrings his shamisen while the Moon King makes fun of him, using his father's bowstring, his mother's hair, and a hair from his own head, as the villagers hide in the shadows. The Moon King is informed by Kubo that the most potent form of magic is the memories he has of his parents and the ghosts of the village's ancestors, which he summons with the shamisen and his magic. The Moon King approaches Kubo to defeat him but is repulsed by the spirits, and Kubo's final magic wave drains the Moon King of his strength. The Moon King is still alive but reduced to a human being who is memoryless and blind in one eye. The Moon King is greeted by the villagers, who each introduce Kubo as their grandchild and share stories of the Moon King's kindnesses and the affection the community has for him. Kubo consents to repeat his grandfather's tales. As the sun comes up, Kubo burns 2 lanterns for his parents and longs for their presence so that his tale can be joyfully concluded. As the movie comes to a close, Kubo casts his lights into the river while his parents' spirits proudly stand by his side.